Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I thought we would do a little bit of self-care for hands today because it's getting to that time of year where it's mid-October. Definitely within the UK it's getting cooler, and with it getting cooler this can be the time where people start to get those aches and pains creeping in. If you've got flexibility in your hands in the summer, you can feel as if it starts to go, or your hands can possibly get less comfortable at this time of year. Maybe the stiffness increases, depends on the job that you do too. If you need to have good dexterity, but sometimes you feel you get to certain times in the year where it just feels like your hands are a little bit stiffer every day. You wake up, they're a bit stiffer, they just don't seem to be as flexible as you'd like them to be. I thought it would be good to go over some hand self-care, and it's all really easy things that you can just incorporate into your day. So when you wake up in the morning, if it's comfortable to do so, it would be quite good just to give them the initial stretch. So just, squeezing them and then giving them a stretch. Now it doesn't have to be when you wake up in the morning, but that's the obvious time if you can, just to get things moving. But it could be if you've got a certain job where you just need to warm up your hands. Massage therapist, maybe again you work in a profession where you're working with people or you're doing manipulations and you have to make sure that your hands are flexible and not too cold too. So that's a nice easy one, just to squeeze and release and just get that flexibility in. It also boosts the circulation too. Then you've got your obvious ones, which is just very gently rotating your wrists, just as comfortably as you can. So everyone's different, so I don't have any wrist issues, but back in the times where I was doing arguably too much massage in a day, I started to get the beginnings of what felt like carpal tunnel. So I knew for me that it was obviously a bit too much for what my hands, wrists, and overall what your body's capable of, because everyone is different. Then you can also just very gently see if you can work the fingers, just move them, get the flexibility in. Again, everyone is different, and you might find that one hand behaves differently to the other, but again, it's just about getting the movement in. So just stretch those fingers, see where they'll go. I'm saying see where they'll go. Don't take them too far, because you'll find out the hard way if you find out, oh right, that's where they go to. Ow. So you don't want to do that. And then you can try just bending your fingers and just making sure again that you've got that flexibility within them. But don't push it. I've got a video on how we worked on trigger finger with a family member during lockdown when you couldn't actually see someone. So I do have some tips there. And then obviously you can go to physios, ideally see someone in person, see your GP, get a referral. But if you can't, then there's lots of videos with qualified physios, Bob and Brad, people like that. What you can also do is see if you can work everything round in circles. And that's also very effective, just gets everything moving at the base of the fingers. So again, you would do that individually. You can even pick a number, say maybe 10 rotations one direction, 10 rotations another. That can be very useful. Every finger likes to behave differently too, so just again, don't push it. And then the thumb, quite often they like to do their own thing. So you repeat that on both hands. You can also use your knuckles just to warm up your palm and just get everything moving there. And you can use the knuckles. I'm not using any moisturiser, any hand lotion, any oil, but you absolutely can if you want to. And then you're just working over that area. And that gives everything a nice stretch. If you've got any issues that require heat or ice, you can obviously do that too, but just make sure you know why you're applying heat or ice. Don't just decide to do that. And if you get any undiagnosed conditions, any swelling, speak to someone first, because you don't know if you're going to make it worse and you don't even know what it is. It's always good to get a diagnosis if you don't know what it is. So that's also really helpful. If you want, you can take your thumb and you can really work on areas. So say you might get a bit of a dull ache here, you might be doing a lot of work where your hand actually feels as if it's held in one position too long. So it could be driving for long periods, it could be carrying the same things for long periods, working with a certain piece of equipment, maybe musicians, anything like that. You might feel that this area gets really tight, so you can take your thumb, just work on that area. Just spend as much time as you feel you need to. You can be moving the hand and just making sure that you're getting that right area. You'll know how it feels. But it can be quite nice as well just to work on any little areas that you feel, maybe you didn't realise there was tension there, and it's only through starting the process that you realise, actually that feels good, to just work on that. And then you can give it a nice big stretch out. So there's so many things that you can do. And you can also just do where you interlink your fingers and then you just work the hands together, hands and wrists together. See how that feels. Sometimes you will feel the crunchiness when you're doing that. I can certainly feel that. Not too crunchy, it's definitely been crunchier. It's not so bad. And then you can just give an initial, or rather just a finishing stretch. If you feel that you've done enough for that day, just a finishing stretch. Whatever feels right. But remember, you can use ice. I'll bring in, see if anyone remembers who this is. Do you remember in the previous video I said that if you are really, really cold, if your hands are freezing, you can just have a hot water bottle to hand. You don't need to buy heat pads and things like that. And this got nicknamed Rod Stewart because it was leopard print, but it could just as easily have been Bet Lynch. Now, Bet Lynch, Bet Gilroy, there's a reference if you're in the UK and you're a certain age. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, leave a comment. But that's definitely a very specific reference. But yeah, I don't know why, but we nicknamed this hot water bottle Rod Stewart. Well, I do know why. It's because it was just easier to say, instead of can I get the hot water bottle and freezing, it was just like, can you grab me Rod Stewart, please? I hope Rod doesn't mind, because he is good. This this hot water bottle's done us proud, so it's a tribute. So yeah, I like a hot water bottle, especially when it's in colder months, when it can just be more convenient to warm up your hands with a hot water bottle and just keep it there, especially if you have any conditions. Some people have Raynaud's, anything like that, where they just need to get some heat very carefully and very sustained into that area. So that can be very handy. So just some tips on keeping the self-care going on your hands when you move into autumn, winter, and it can get a little bit more uncomfortable. Let me know what you do to keep your hands flexible, especially when the seasons change, because there are so many things that can happen that you can be prepared for as each year comes round, but you still know that that's going to be like your weak point or your area that you've got to look for. Have a lovely day. Leave me a comment, let me know what it is that you do, and I'll see you again soon.